Dueling Dialogues presents His and Hers with Grace Matthews, Caddyman, and Connor Murphy.
Welcome to episode 25 of His and Hers with Grace Matthews and the Caddyman in the heart of the USA, Springfield, Missouri. Hi, you two.
Hello.
Hey.
How's
Happy
it going?
Friday.
Yes, it's been a while.
Happy hour.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever done this show on a Friday.
We haven't.
this is
And we
the first.
probably won't make a habit out of it, but hey, it's kind of fun.
Well, we picked a good day because it's crappy outside.
Oh my gosh, it is here. Yesterday it was 85 and sunny. Today it's like 44 and cloudy and
Ooh, that's a big drop.
North wind.
Oh,
north
there you
wind.
go.
Yeah, so crazy.
Well, we can thank Canada for that, can't we?
Yeah,
As
we
a matter
can-
of fact, that's who they blamed it on. I hate to tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we always get blamed. The Alberta Clipper and all these fancy weather terms. It's our fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a Canadian, I'd like to apologize. Sorry.
Oh,
We appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, today I want to remind everybody before we get started that none of us are doctors. We are really talking about our own experiences, what's worked, what's failed for us. That is not the same for everybody. And when we talk about doing things that are going to help you, your mental health, that does not mean you should quit taking medication, quit seeing a doctor, or think we're the know-all gurus.
Right.
We're just telling you what works for us.
Exactly.
So, I would like to start out with the thought.
Okay.
I will come through challenges with a better understanding of myself. Now,
Interesting.
in this 12-part series, we started out with yoga as therapy, cooking as therapy. Today, it's, as number 3, it's talk therapy as therapy.
Okay.
Actual therapy. Does actual therapy work?
Okay.
We're going to talk about it.
Interesting.
Okay. I will tell you that in my late 20s, I went to therapy for about 3 years. I didn't have anything particularly wrong, but I wasn't a very protected child.
Right.
And so I had a lot of stuff to deal with. I went then. It helped me. It is a lifelong experience. I often go back to what I learned, what I discovered in therapy. And here many years later, I still say it was one of the best things I ever did for myself. One of the best dollars I ever spent.
Right.
And I'm a better person for it.
I had quite a different experience. I had a corporate therapist, so we were all encouraged to go de-stress or whatever with this corporate therapist. And I always thought it was a joke and it didn't help, but there were certain things that the therapist said that stick with me forever. And it has a lot to do with me being able to de-stress and not sort of concentrating or getting in the headspace where I'm thinking about problems and challenges that I cannot control, that I have no control over. And it kind of taught me to sort through those things, ask myself a question, can I affect the outcome? If the answer is no, then stop thinking about it. Go on to the next thing that's bugging you.
Right. Yeah, and you call that your next theory.
My
or your
next theory, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. We've talked about it before. It works for you. I've actually borrowed it. That's a really good exercise, whatever you want to call it. So you also have had somewhat of a positive experience.
And now we have someone that is going through therapy.
Okay. Do you think it's positive?
I do think it's positive. You know, my dad used to have a saying that 2 heads are better than 1, even if one's a blockhead. And it sounds stupid and very Ozarkian, but, you know, it's the truth. You know, it's very hard to look at things objectively when you're emotionally, physically, whatever involved. You're never going to look at it like someone will look at it that has no ties, no feelings, no nothing. They're taking it as it is. As I tell people, I'm a good gambler on other people's money because I get no emotional ties. I look at stats, I look at the way they're playing, maybe the injuries, all sorts of different things. Well, you do the same thing when you're doing your own betting of your own money. However, your personal feelings come into effect, and it does affect you. And it's just like this, with having a therapist, they don't let the personal feelings. They're just wanting to help you, and so they're trying to take what you tell them and make a judgment with no feelings whatsoever, just a scientific or textbook or whatever you want to say feeling and way things should be based on what you've told them.
Right.
Yeah, the purpose of therapy should be to heal, manage, and alleviate issues that are bothering you.
Exactly.
It should promote healthier, better, and even more communication.
Okay.
Now, one thing you need to make sure of when you begin therapy, have a goal.
Okay.
So that when you reach that goal, you can reassess. Do I need another goal or am I done? Otherwise, you could get into this, you're in therapy your whole life.
Right. Exactly.
So the goal kind of helps you to know when you're done.
Okay. There you go.
It should help you to improve your connection with other people. Kind of like the caddy man said. This is a person that doesn't have an iron in the fire.
Right.
They're not wandering around in the forest and they can't see the forest because there's so many trees.
Right.
That helps. They're probably not a lot different than just someone that's more objective.
Right.
But that is huge because we are social beings. Therapy has been known to do very great things for depression, anxiety, and substance issues.
There you go.
But most of all, it helps us create coping skills. Now, we all have coping skills. And many of them have kept us alive, have kept us from getting injured and hurt, and that they often serve a purpose. For example, the coping skills we use as children are not necessarily the ones we should use as adults. That doesn't mean they didn't serve a purpose.
Right.
They did. But so a therapist can help you gain better coping skills by helping you to understand, reshape your feelings. If you look back at something that happened when you were 5, a lot of times you look back and you become the 5-year-old again.
There you go.
When you work through it with the therapist should be taking you back as an adult and saying, let's look at this as an adult versus a child.
Yeah, I can see that.
So we gain problem-solving skills, and we can change our behavior patterns.
Right.
Some people don't need to change their behavior patterns. That's great. Now, the most effective therapy is most effective when you are what? Honest. I mean, the therapist does not have a crystal ball.
Right.
If you don't go into therapy and be honest, you're going to send them on a wild goose chase because they're really just people. Hopefully educated and experienced people, but nevertheless still people. They don't have a crystal ball. The one thing that a lot of people warn of, I don't remember this being the case with me, but things a lot of times will get worse before they get better. in therapy because you're opening up sometimes big cans of worms. And you got to let those worms out, put them back in. But maybe you're letting them out as children and you're putting them back in as adults.
That is true. And a lot of things, too, is everyone has these thoughts or these feelings. Most of it does date back to when they're a child. And what most people, if they know why, the why part answers a lot of questions so a person can move on or live with it or understand it because they've probably been wondering that their whole life.
Right.
And
consciously or subconsciously. I mean, sometimes you can be wondering something and it's
exactly.
not necessarily at the front of your mind, but it's there, holding you back.
Making you not make right decisions, affecting your judgment. It can do lots of things. It doesn't have to necessarily, be something terrible, but unfortunately, most of the time it's a traumatic event that needs to be talked about. And most people, it's tough to talk about those type of feelings or those type of happenings with just anybody. And sometimes a therapist, you feel like they're a perfect stranger, but is willing to listen, and so they're not going to be judgmental, and it's not like you're going to go out on the street or you're not going to be drinking beer with them 3 days from now.
Well, if you are, it's inappropriate.
Yeah. True.
Okay. And believe it or not, and that's going to be hard for guys, but crying can represent a breakthrough.
The release of emotions.
Exactly. It was once said, if tears are flowing, something worthwhile is happening.
There you
because
go.
You're changing. You are looking at something and saying, it can't be like this anymore.
Right.
And therefore you're giving something up. Now, it's hard for us as human beings to give up anything, even a lot of bad shit.
Right.
Okay?
Well,
it's just not that easy. We get sort of attached to our good and our bad crap.
Well, scientifically, they've proven a different composition of tears from tears of joy to tears of sadness. The tears are actually, they're actually differ chemically. So there you go.
Ooh, I love that tidbit.
I didn't know
that. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
That's great. One thing that will help with this flow of emotion and hopefully at some point a flow of tears is if you trust your therapist. You should trust your therapist. They should not cross the line of inappropriateness. If you don't feel safe and trust your therapist, there's more out there. Get another one.
Yeah, there you go. Simple.
You should also feel like you're being heard, not that they're listening to themselves talk.
Right. Yeah, I imagine therapy to be sitting there and listening to someone telling me what to do. And in all truth, they didn't really say a lot.
No, really, you're processing your own stuff.
Yeah, you're doing all the talking, and they just get in there to clean out the bad stuff.
Or they're more of a guide.
A guide, yeah. Like a spirit guide, almost.
Yeah.
And the thing with therapy is it's the process that is most important, not really the end. Because the process teaches you how, as you're learning how to deal with possibly maybe a sexual abuse or some sort of crazy thing that happened with your kid, maybe the death of a parent or something. The process at which you go through with your therapist, the idea is that you can carry it over to another situation later.
Right.
Because life's a roller coaster. Situations keep coming at us.
Yeah, you bet.
They don't stop just because we say, we're tired of it.
And life changes. Let's face it.
Therapy works best if you're ready to open up.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I've met and known people that have talked to me about certain issues, and they're no more ready to talk to a therapist than it would be a total waste of time and money.
Yeah, exactly.
Those same people, though, can become open to it.
Right.
Clients actually become physically healthier with therapists while they're in therapy and after therapy.
Yeah, I can see that.
For some reason, and that I think it's that mind, body, spirit connection we talked about when we talked about yoga as therapy.
Right.
That you become healthier physically.
That's pretty interesting.
If you make your body healthier, your mind becomes healthier, and your spirit.
Right.
Such as when your mind's healthier, your body's healthier, and your spirit's healthier. So keep in mind that it's overall. That's why we're also doing this 12-part series, because you need to do many things as therapy.
Right.
If you really want to make a change, and you really want to change your life, engaging in lots of forms of therapy helps. And talk therapy is one of the best. Talk therapy can take you from a survival mode, because that's what a lot of our coping mechanisms are.
Right.
To a life enhancement mode.
Yeah, definitely.
How am I going to enhance my life instead of just save my own neck for the next 5 minutes?
Right.
It can help untangle years of confusion. It goes back to when you look at things as a child, they're tangled up like a child's mind.
Right. Sorting through
There's
them.
a reason, why we give, people certain freedoms at age 18 and 21, because they're not ready at age 10.
Yeah, I get that.
They're tangled up and confused. It can also help you, open up to better patterns of behaviors when you untangle this mess.
Yeah, and it's easier for a therapist when he doesn't know you to look from the outside in and give you some tools to take away from that, to deal with that. It really helps that he doesn't know you and he's not judging you.
Exactly. He has no reason to judge you.
Yeah.
If he is judging, get another therapist.
Yeah, there you go.
There are a lot of people that go to therapy that don't really have any issues. Okay? They simply want to meet themselves.
Yeah.
The one thing therapy does is say, hello, meet yourself. Mm-hmm. Meet that self that's hidden inside of you, that very likable self that you think you're afraid to climb mountains. But maybe that's exactly what you want to do.
I thought those were the people that had a life coach.
Life coaches can work in that way too.
Yeah, I think most of those people that almost are addicted to therapy like talking about themselves.
Well, the life coach is kind of a new age therapy. I mean, you're right. A life coach, and life coaches are great. And one of these days we need to do a whole show on that.
Right.
And in fact, I have a friend that is a life coach, and I'm pretty sure she would love to come on. I hadn't even thought about talking to her about coming on. So
I have someone in mind there too. Yeah.
Great. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Like I said before, the benefits are lifelong. Whatever you learn in therapy today, it will be pertinent 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
Right.
So keep that in mind. It keeps repressed memories from haunting you. I know people very old that have repressed memories that haunt them. They're not necessarily on the surface.
They never truly dealt with it. Yeah.
My mom, even at her age of, I've lost track of how old Mother is. She's probably 75. Okay.
Okay.
She got encephalitis, and as she was going into the coma, many of those repressed memories she started playing out. It was so It was horrible and sad.
Oh, jeez.
You know, take care of that now. Don't let it come back and haunt you.
Right.
It helps you eliminate passive-aggressive behavior. People that are confused, unhappy, tend to be passive-aggressive. So if you deal with that, then you become less passive-aggressive, and everybody that lives around you will really appreciate that.
There you go.
And like I said, new perspective. It helps you to see other people and the world around you in a different way.
Yeah.
Maybe in a more accurate way. Maybe in a more empathetic way. Depending upon who or what you are.
Like I said earlier, it helps that you've got an outsider looking in to give you unbiased, tools and opinions to a different outlook of that event.
Exactly. And I don't know if you ever watch The Iron Chef, and they throw out a what is it, the curveball
ingredient.
Yeah. Well, life can throw you curveballs.
Yes.
And getting new coping skills and dealing with the old stuff can help you deal with those. Oh, they call it a culinary curveball.
Yeah.
Well, it'll help you deal with these life curveballs.
Right. Exactly.
Talk therapy can be like painting a picture, where you start out with maybe an outline of something and you don't know what it is. And so you finish out the picture because you give it more detail.
Right.
You understand and you see things in detail.
See it clearer.
Yeah.
Building on.
Yeah, exactly. It could be also a little like Legos.
Yes.
Building blocks. I think you used that term a few days ago.
I do.
You did call it a building block, that each time you're with your therapist, you find a new block.
And you add it on to your foundation.
And that's when you know you've had a successful session.
Good.
When you get a new building block, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Even if they're getting paid, you still know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
And people need people.
Yeah.
You can also...
It took me a while, I think, to warm up to having a therapist. That's what I found. It was awkward at first, but as you kind of get, into a few sessions, you get a little bit more comfortable, and I think you open up your mind a little bit more.
Absolutely, and that helps you rewire your brain.
So stick with it. Don't give up after one or two awkward sessions. You got to stick with it. That's
people that are in therapy are less likely to self-medicate.
There you go.
That's good. And whatever you learn in therapy, it can also make you help other people. It almost kind of helps you to become a teacher to other people.
There you go. Yeah, I agree.
It's really is a good thing. It's a great thing when you use it in conjunction with other activities and therapies. Probably most people could benefit from it. You don't have to have something horrible.
Right.
You get out of it what you put in it.
Oh, for sure.
I agree with that. Yeah.
If you go into it with a bad attitude, or if you're not honest and foretelling, then you're not going to get anything out of it, and you can say, oh, that didn't do me any good. But if you go into it with a good attitude and you do have a good therapist that's involved, and then you're going to get a lot out of it, and you're going to feel better each time you talk to them, and you will be more forthcoming and it will help you get rid of your problem or problems, and help you get to feeling better, because that's what it's all about. It's about making yourself feel better And normally when you feel better, you're going to make the people around you feel better.
Oh, for sure. And, it's about reaching your full potential.
Yeah. I remember walking out of therapy going, wow, that felt good.
Yeah. Yeah, you should walk out of therapy feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I hope everybody enjoyed this. I know everybody's waiting for your scary TV.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Yeah. What are the kids doing out there? Is there trick or treating, or what's going on?
No, I don't think they're going to have any.
We are so COVID ridden right now in Greene County and Springfield, Missouri, that it's really just not possible.
Yeah, that's sad. Poor kids.
It's bad.
Poor kids.
Bad.
But
we lost a beloved employee from MSU, the equipment manager.
Oh no!
We lost him today to COVID, and so our heart goes out to his family.
That's horrible to hear.
So, and anybody that's been around the athletic department knows him. So
that's sad. How old was he?
In his late 30s, I believe.
Oh, geez, no.
So,
wow.
Not that old, and
news.
not in that classic group. He was a big guy.
Right.
Okay, very big guy.
Huh.
So
hearts go out to that family for sure. That's
absolutely
really sad. Yeah. So we've got some scary shows since kids aren't going out and you're not having to tend the candy bowl or the little ones out there for Halloweening. We've got some scary shows that you can check out. We've got 5 of them. The first one, or the first couple, I'm not real big on, but I watch the odd episode here and there. The first one's called Penny Dreadful, City of Angels, and it looks at some grisly murders in Los Angeles in 1938, so it's kind of a period piece that way. Some very good acting. Natalie Dormer stars in that. I like it actually a little more than Nosferatu, and that's NOS4, the number 4, A, and the number 2. They spell it very differently.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, Penny Dreadful's on Showtime, Crave, HBO, and Sky. Nosferatu's on AMC and the BBC. So it's classified as a horror as well. And it's basically about a immortal that feeds off the souls of children.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah,
okay.
It's kind of almost a fantasy piece, but it's got some interesting camera effects and things like that in it. One of my favorites is Bates Motel, and that's on NBC, Netflix, and Universal. And that's a horror. It's the prequel to the movie Psycho about Norman Bates and the Bates Motel.
Okay, that's one of my kind. Yeah.
Yeah. So it stars the Freddie Highmore. He's the young guy that plays the autistic doctor in Good Doctor.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's actually an award-winning actor, and he does really well. It's really weird to see him speak with his English accent. I guess he's from the UK, but very good actor, very believable. So the last 2 are actually comedies, and one of them's called Barry. It's on HBO and Sky. It's basically a hitman moves to Hollywood and wants to become an actor. So it's got some very funny moments and some very serious moments as well. So it's worth checking out, and it's only a half-hour show.
I like that. I like it when they mix in a little funny.
Yes, and speaking of funny, this is probably one of the funniest TV shows on at the moment. This last one's called What We Do in the Shadows, and it's on FX, HBO, and Walt Disney Television. And it is basically a documentary style that shot in a documentary style, and it looks into the daily lives of 3 vampires that have lived together for over 100 years on Staten Island.
Oh my gosh! I love that.
It is really, really a funny show, and out of all of these, I would pick Bates Motel and What We Do in the Shadows for the comedy is my favorites.
Yeah. I like the sounds of both of those.
I do too.
Yeah, the Bates Motel, it's a little more serious and dark and dingy. A lot of it was filmed out here in the West Coast, on the Lower Mainland. And a lot of it was filmed during the winter, so it's dark and rainy and gives you that kind of moody thing. But what we do in the shadow is pretty damn hilarious. And the special effects are out of this world. It's pretty good. So, and that's it for this week's Scary TV shows.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
We all look forward to that. And I hope everybody's had a great week. I hope you have a great week. Stay safe out there. Tempest fugit. Time flies. Use it wisely.
There you go.
Yeah, move that coffee table and do some dancing.
There you go. You guys have a good weekend. Hopefully it warms up there.
You
all
too.
Right. See ya.
Bye-bye now.